Hey, welcome to the Raw Approach. I am Dr. Woods, and you is here. You here up in here. You here on Wednesday. Welcome. Glad to have you all. Hey, it's another day. I pray that everything went well with you all. No matter what, it's another day that wasn't promised to you nor I. But nevertheless, we are here on today. All right, y'all. Y'all know with things and life things that comes up. I just want to let everybody know that Chief Justice Sherry Beasley will not be with us on tonight, but nevertheless, I do have a special guest with us on tonight. It's the one, the only, the one and the only. He just called himself Brick by Brick. He don't even go by his name anymore. We got Antonio Bratcher in the house on the day. What up, Bratcher?
What's up, Dr. Reginald Woods? What's up, man?
Man, it's good to have you in the house on the day, man. Thank you for joining with us on the day. Introduce yourself to the audience that don't know who you are, brother.
I'm Antonio Bratcher, man. I go way back with Woods, like what they say, 4 flats on the Cadillac. I would like to say I'm a residential programming expert, put it that way. I've been doing things in the residential programming realm for a long time. So that's what my claim to fame. Brick by brick, that's one of my private, personal things that I'm working on. So you'll hear about that in the near future. You're gonna push me to make sure you hear about that in the near future. I'm not a judge. I've been in front of a judge before, but you know. a couple of times, you know, but so I do my best impersonation, you know.
say more than what you want to talk about, huh?
Yeah. We can talk about that at another show.
Yeah, that's what's up. Before we go, you want to tell people about your rapping career?
See, man, come on, man. If we're not gonna talk about being in front of the judge, we're not gonna talk about the rapping career. So we'll say that for a later date too. I have to change my logo at the bottom. So
that's what's up, man. Hey, glad to have you here, man. You know, let's just go on into it, man. First of all, how's everything with you and the family?
Real good. I cannot complain, man. 2025 hit us with a lot of unexpected things, but you know, I can't complain. I promise you, we blessed, man. We blessed and highly favored.
Unexpected? You got another one on the way?
No, come on, man. I should have signed some type of
disclosure.
Agreement before I got on this show. That's why you catch me at the last minute, so I don't get to sign that agreement, man. You smart. But I'm done.
Okay, that's what's up, man. But you know what? Let's talk about residential right quick, man. What do you find to be stuff that is still the same, and what's different probably in the last 5 years?
Well, still the same staffing. You know, I mean, no matter, man, if you're dealing with girls, you're dealing with boys, you're dealing with small programs, large programs, state to state, different levels, from level 1s all the way up to level 10s, depending on what state you're in. Staffing is always a challenge of, you know, getting, man, first of all, getting people that's their passion. That's what they want to do. You know, you don't get lucky and get a lot of people that's their passion. They just end up, you know, looking for a job and hoping that something that's going to become their passion. So that's always a challenge. And then it's always a challenge just finding quality, qualified, dedicated, passionate staff. I think that's just, and honestly, as I'm talking to you, Woods, that may not just be a residential thing. That's just a work thing, but that's
the work thing nowadays. Yeah. And I think COVID changed that for a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, it gave different people different perspectives, especially the younger generation.
Oh, yeah.
And then one of the effects that I seen of COVID is before, you know, you had your veterans. You can always count on your veterans in this industry. You know what I'm saying? And your veteran was going to make sure that they was going to teach, educate, and make sure the young bucks had it. But when COVID happened, the veterans got gone like the
they did.
New people. You know what I'm saying? So it really brought a bigger gap in, and what we see now in that industry, I don't think we have rebounded yet.
No. And I'm gonna tell you, and we want to talk about what's different. Oh, man, and this is with I'm gonna focus on the kids, the residents, the clients, or whatever people choose to call them. But it's really gonna kind of go hand in hand with the staff, though. Mental health, man, mental health. The type of kid that
Yeah.
we was dealing with 5 years ago has drastically changed,
But we talked about that back then at the detention center
yeah,
about how the mental health of the kids is going to become more of a pertinent issue to the point
yeah,
that we started picking up that a lot of attorneys for these kids was using the mental health issue as
yeah,
a reason to try to give them less restrictive charges so they can
yeah,
be in less restrictive placements
yeah,
instead of standing in the detention center or even getting bound over. We started
yeah,
seeing that pattern coming, and now from the mental health perspective, man, you a lot of facilities that's dealing with mental health issues is really dealing with more of the behavioral health issues, the behavior issues,
yeah. Hmm.
more so than the mental health, but you still got that mental health in the background. So the kids still meet the scope of services to be at some of those mental health facilities, but they
Yeah,
tearing them up though.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But the thing is, what I say what changed, I think that it changed so fast that people were not really paying attention to it, and now providers are trying to catch up by realizing that old training that we laid out for our staff is not working anymore.
No,
And it ain't. Well, let me take that back. It's not that it's not working. It needs to be enhanced. It needs to be updated. And you know me. One of my pushes is that we can provide the best training in the world, but I have always been a big advocate of getting other experts in to come help train because the staff need way more than just that 2 week
2 week
training,
training.
one week of on the job training. Man, this is a ongoing OJT on the job training. It's almost for a direct care staff should almost be a year long because they constantly learn. And mental health is so, man, it's impacting the like I said the kids, but it's actually impacting the staff too because you got staff that are I don't know if the mental health issues are more prevalent or if people are just more vocal about the mental health issues that they are personally having. You know what I mean? When I
Yeah,
say personally, that individual staff or their close family members, it's impacting them being able to even function day to day at work. We're getting hit with both sides. The mental health has gotten high with the residents and high with the staff. And equipped, um, if you're not equipped or educated or understand, man, you're gonna be behind the eight ball. Really, that's one of the biggest changes that I have seen that's impacting the way you run residential programs.
um, that goes back to where we used to always talk about, and then we even talked about this on the show one time, is that in today's time with updated training, as you talked about, is bringing other people in.
Yeah,
It's good to hear somebody else say the exact same thing
yeah,
because they might get it. It may not register from hearing from you, Bratcher, because you expected to say this.
yeah,
But when
yeah,
somebody else comes in with a different perspective of the training, but still putting out the same ideas, they'll be like, "Oh, I get it." And I
yeah,
think we got to continue to be in that space that you cannot be so caught up in. But I said that.
yeah.
That was one thing you and I used to talk about.
All the time
But I said that. But just
Mhm.
because you said it, don't mean that they got it.
that they got it. Yeah.
You got to put yourself in another perspective. Okay. Now we did that. So what do you think is new in the industry?
Meaning what? What do you?
Changes. We talked about
Oh
what is the same. What is new in the industry?
man, I think I don't know if it's new or what, but I think laws have impacted how you run programming a lot, man. And they're there for a reason, man. Because if you do your research, man, or hell, honestly, you turn on the TV, man. There's some people that have done some very cruel things, that's supposed to be protecting kids. And I
Yeah.
know I always talk about kids, but we talk about even the adult, any population that's vulnerable. Put it that way, you know what I'm saying? And there's some
Right.
people that do, man. Just, I mean, you be like, how did that happen? Who in the hell allowed that to happen? So there comes rules and laws and all that. Now, what happens is those rules and laws should run those people away that are there to try to take advantage of that vulnerable population. But what it does is also tighten up the freedom or the flexibility that someone who has the right intentions has. And so now you talked about earlier those veterans. A lot of veterans, man, that I'm watching are leaving this type of work because the rules have become so stringent that it almost put them in a situation where you don't even want to be in a situation where you could be choosing, hey man, I can ruin my career just off of being in the wrong room. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Being around the
Absolutely.
wrong
Absolutely.
staff. Yeah, being at the wrong place at the
That's the
wrong
catch. Been
time.
around that wrong staff.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I mean, we done had situations where, I mean, they be good staff, but they make bad choices at the wrong time.
Yes, yep.
Yeah.
And it happens frequently, man. I was talking to one of my clinical directors earlier today. I'm up here in Knoxville right now, and she was just kind of venting, just talking through some of her frustrations, and I was being it, listening ear, whatever. But after she got done, I had to tell her like, hey, you're a director. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I mean, that's what they pay us to do is to direct.
Right. Direct.
Everybody in your orchestra, knew exactly what tone to hit, what instrument to play, and what they would need you to direct. That's what we need you here is to direct. And it's not about. I always talk about this, man. It's not about if it's gonna happen. It's about when it's gonna happen.
It's when.
Yeah, to Ernest Herman and man and so again, that's why you got oversight, directors, all these other entities that are not actually on the floor, or I always talk about sports that are not on the field. You got all these coaches and all these people watching to help protect the systems and and the integrity of what you should be doing, because it's whether it's intentional or unintentional, it's not about if it's going to happen, it's about when it's going to happen.
And the effect about when it's going to happen is one of the things that when I used to always do training and with staff, I used to always like to bring staff around during their on-the-job training or even when they was in classroom training. And I would tell them, like, we're going to take about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, walk around and tell me where you see a potential issue. Because
Yeah.
one thing, it's always to have fresh eyes to look at something. Then also the fresh eyes may see something that you may not have seen all the time you're there. And then it goes back to the when. It's not if it's going to happen, it's when. And so that gives you an opportunity to be proactive and get ahead of the when to try to curtail whatever issue is going to be. Such as one of the big issues we used to try to address is, we got a lot of cameras, but there's a lot of cameras that we are lacking due to the cameras was placed 25, 26 years ago. And now you got a bunch of blind spots. And just as the kids know the blind spots, the staff know the blind spots. So, it's always stuff like that you got to always be ahead of. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up. But let me ask you this, Bratcher.
Go ahead. Now, I was going to say
ahead.
another change in the same, I guess, same ballpark that we talking in. Man, we got this thing that I don't know if it's just a Tennessee thing, and I'm pretty sure if it's not, it's just probably worded different in other states. But here we call it prudent parenting, and it's a big push. It's actually in our provider manual that all of our staff should be trained on it, and they should be doing. And it's really just normalcy. The same thing that I do at home, the same treatment that my son and daughter get, we should be trying to do that same normalcy with our residents, whatever. And that's one of the biggest changes, right? Too, that they're pushing, which is a great thing though, but it's also challenging too, because it's a lot of the things that prudent parenting says, it conflicts with safety and security too.
Let me tell you why. I think that's a great idea. But when we talk about normalcy in the home, I always go by this right here. every home, if we was to look at and evaluate it, it would look like there's something weird. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
If from the outside. So I forgot, I used to have a quote that go with that. Is but with the functionally function, a dysfunctionally functioning home. You know, we can all look into somebody's house and find what is dysfunctional about that home, but yet it's still functioning. And so many people, we all have what is called our home, our life, and it's normal to us.
Yes.
But to some people that come in and look for the outside, I'm like, man, that's some dysfunctional shit right there.
Right. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So when you start speaking about that, it goes back to what you were saying a long time ago about the different levels of communication and understanding. When you say, hey, treat this like your home, that's a wonderful thing to say, because we automatically assuming that they moving the way you move.
Right.
And then you start finding out, man, they treat their home like this. We don't need this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that can cause a conflict.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. Go ahead.
Now, I was going to give you a quick real life example. I'm talking about just today. I was at one of my programs. You know, I try to talk without disclosing too much. So, but I was at one of my programs. I mean, just a normal visit, checking on this, checking in on people, and, doing my due diligence. And I seen, okay, let me give you an example. We got a young man that just had surgery on his ankle, so he's on bed rest per se, And of course, if he's on bed rest, they can't be by themselves, so the staff has to be, on him, whatever. True story. What came to the program? The kid is in his room. He's actually in a privileged room, like an honors room, so he got a TV and everything in his room. The staff was actually sitting in the room with the kid in the chair, and they were just watching TV. And the good thing about this is that this is in an open area as soon as you walk into the program. So it wasn't just ducked off in the back somewhere. And we got two cameras in the rooms and all that, right? Nobody, and it was several people, whether you talk about administrators, supervisors, even outside entities you walk through, nobody had an issue or saw issue with that, right? Whatever. And being honest with you, if you want to look at prudent parenting, man, from what I'm trained and what I know, man, that kid probably was getting the best treatment. Like he probably didn't feel isolated. He probably didn't feel like, I'm in prison. I'm on watch. I got surgery on my ankle. Why you treating me like a prisoner or whatever? It probably felt like he was sitting in the room with an auntie, you know what I'm saying? Something of nature.
Yeah.
But I had to pull, my people to the side and say, hey, I need you to go reevaluate that, and also get with your supervisors and kind of ask them, what are the red flags? What potential risk could we be having with that setup? Because I knew, I knew nothing was going wrong, whatever. But it ain't about if, it's about when. You know what I mean? You don't know, you don't know that young man's intention. You don't know the staff intentions. But our job is not to create a scenario for somebody to have ill intentions, and now it's this person, because even though you got cameras, now a lot of people, you talk about outdated cameras, a lot of programs actually got cameras that actually can hear too and got voice playback, but most don't. So even if you say, hey, I'm on camera, I didn't do anything, but what if that man said that you was saying a bunch of inappropriate things to him? You see what I'm saying? So, and I get it if you go back on a safety and security perspective and put that person outside the room, it does appear almost like a guard watching the lunch card, and it doesn't feel normal. You know what I'm saying? But again, I think that's where the normalcy versus the safety and the security clashes and becomes problematic. And like I explained to my person was that why I trust what they were doing, and I knew, I ain't gonna say I knew, I could assume that nothing was going wrong, in that situation. But what if another staff that may not have those type of boundaries, or a kid that may not have those type of boundaries, they see that they're gonna copy that same thing, and it's gonna become normal. And next thing you know, you got staff thinking it's okay just to chill in the room with their kids.
Not the issue. You got a big issue then.
It was, we always talk about real case scenarios. We dealt with that where we was at, where we got a staff in the room with a kid taking pictures. Like, how is that okay? But in that staff's head, that was normal.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you in a lockdown facility.
What? Yeah. Man, that was the strangest thing ever.
All right, let me ask you this. Candace asks, what do you think about the federal troops going into Memphis? Since you're from Memphis,
Boy.
what do you think about that? And does she even go further to say, we know it's a city overwhelming, populated by African American men and boys who are this seven
Yeah.
was very high zip codes of crime.
You're right.
So
Right.
go ahead with what you're saying about the Memphis thing.
I just and again, I'm speaking without not having all of the information of the why and all this type of stuff. I feel like if a city asks for assistance, when I say a city, not just the mayor or the governor of the state or whatever. Like if the actual citizens say, hey, we need additional assistance, I can't tell you what that should look like. If that's more police, if that's the National Guard, it don't matter who comes, but if you send people, and this is funny, Woods, because I was talking about this earlier, like, and I'm gonna try to make this kind of connect, right? And I don't know if this is going to answer Candace's question or not. I was just talking to one of my old directors that said that, man, she told me one of my flaws. She said, one of your flaws is that you don't you ask your people, what do you need, right? And she was like, a lot of times people don't know how to tell you what they need. You know what I mean? Sometimes people want you to look and like say, hey man, I'm short staffed, or I'm in Memphis and crime is high and we don't have enough police. But I feel like that's what happens. There's somebody, without asking the people what they need, somebody's just gonna give you what they think that you need, and they're gonna send troops in. They're gonna send all these people. And my I guess on my take on it, if the city doesn't want that or don't feel that that's needed, they're not gonna be receptive of it, so it's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
It's not going to be effective, nor it's going to be efficient.
No, because that may not be that's what somebody else thought that they needed, whatever. Again, this was with me saying this without having all of the information of like what they're supposed to be doing. Are they down there just for support? Are they down there for additional? Are they short staffed? Do they got more resources than the police department? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I would tell you though, if I was living in Memphis and I knew that, I don't feel like that would make me feel safer. I feel like that would make me feel even more unsafe. So that's just me from my perspective.
It's like putting a little fish in the shark tank.
Right. Yeah.
You're stirring up the pot.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it's other.
Or and I tell people this all the time, is laws only affect law-abiding citizens.
Yeah.
Criminals, the laws don't affect them.
They'll find a way anyway. Yeah.
So therefore, the thing is, depending on what they've been doing, they just gonna wait you out. Because they know the National Guard is not gonna be there 6 months to a year to 2 years. They're gonna wait you out, and then as soon as you leave, whatever activity that you're so-called stopping is going to amp up, or whatever activity you think you're stopping, because you're only in pockets, you're not there. And so my thing is, this is what I want to know. Are you in the inner city of those areas? Or are you protecting the downtown
right
of those areas? I mean, are you really where the crime really happening?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to know. That's the only thing I want to know.
That make a lot of sense. And
are you helping the little old ladies with their groceries as they trying to cross from one side of the street to the other, because you got one gang on this side, one gang on this side? Are you doing that type stuff? I just want to know in detail, what is it that you're protecting? You know what I'm saying? Or what is that you helping to bring a level of security and safety to? Now, if you bring a level of security and safety to your downtown area where your visitors going to be, okay, most of people from the inner cities don't go to your downtown area anyway.
Right.
So that's a waste of finance and resources. So,
but it goes back to
a good question.
Yeah, and it goes back to what I'm saying. Like, if you don't really ask the people what they need, you go create something that you got a different agenda for real. And it kind of go back to applying it to what we do for a living. You remember, it was a time where you just needed 2 or 3 additional bodies that could be gophers. Boom, boom, boom. But fast forward, after the fact, they sent in the troops. This is after the fact. And it didn't work. It got worse. Yeah,
Right.
but because when those kids saw, okay, now y'all gonna send all these people from other programs, we're gonna send men, we're gonna send this, and the kids actually bucked them harder than they did when we had a predominantly female run detention. You remember that?
That's because when they was brought in, they was told not by us. They was told by the powers to be, "Hey,
Yeah,
y'all gonna be headhunters.
yeah,
Y'all gonna
yeah.
help bring structure." But where you come from and where you coming, them two different type of
Two
kids.
different things. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
And so you trying to bucket, they all for it. You know what I'm
so
saying?
I feel the same thing about the
Yeah,
National Guard. Same exact scenario.
I agree. Candace, I hope that answered your question, young lady. All right, Bratcher, let me ask you this, man. This is the one thing I always like to ask everybody, and you know it. In today's time, and today here, 2025, and October 1st, what are you doing, man, to bring work-life balance to what you got going on?
For myself or for my people.
That's a good one. First, let's start with yourself, and then two, how do you encourage that for your people? Good one.
Man, with myself, man, I one, you gotta know, what's your happy place. You know what I mean? What what's non-negotiable? Something that, because at the end of the day, when you work, especially when you work in a field that requires so much, whatever, you're gonna give up something. You know what I'm saying? It's just like
Yeah,
any relationship, and you're gonna give up something. You gotta have your non-negotiables. I know as I'm, getting older and just learning myself, I know what my non-negotiables are the things that make me happy. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna let anybody interfere with that, right? So like just say if it's working out, you know what I mean? I'm gonna make sure that my people that know that they can call me 24/7, holidays, weekends, like that, they know from, and I'm just making this up, but they know I'm not an early morning person, but they know from 7 to 7:30, we're not calling him because we know he working out. You know what I'm saying? And that's my protected piece. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of make sure that I reinforce that with myself. Since we talking about me, let me tell you, people
right.
know me when it's my kids, my wife, my kids, my family. They know that once I got my grind on, but when I'm doing something, with my kids or spending that one-on-one time that they need with my people, know, I already know. They reinforce it themselves. I mean, I hear your son in the background. I'll talk to you later. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta allow people to know what those happy places are for you, so they can help reinforce that behavior. Because
Absolutely.
it's so easy to get back to the grind. Because we came from the grind, Woods. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
To the point where I have to stop some of the people that came from the grind like me that say, man, back in the day we used to do this, and I'd be like, just because we used to do it don't mean it was okay though. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? So
right,
don't yeah don't make this person feel bad because they say, man, I'm working 40 hours. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Don't
right,
make me feel
right,
bad for that.
right.
Like that, just because we worked 80 hours don't mean it was right.
And,
So
and and the thing is, not only to try to make them feel bad, but my thing is, are we in a situation where we got to work like that in those industries anymore? You know what I'm
right.
saying? The whole goal is to encourage people. Hey, you want the overtime? Okay, let's see what we got. But even at the same time, you got to be able to say, "Hey, I'm gonna stop you here." You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stop you here. I need you to go home, get you some rest, or if you don't go home, get rest. You're not gonna be on the clock. You're not gonna
They,
be here in the facility. You know what I'm
yep,
saying? And so you got to be able to have somebody that's gonna be able to look out for you. Because
yep,
sometimes you got some people just going,
yep,
and
yep.
just going, and we've seen so many times where we had people um, that would run their head through a wall for certain people, and then when that wall protection is not there for them, they left them out there.
Yep, yep.
You know what I'm
Often,
saying?
often, often. And
Yeah.
and the
So
the second part to that, I do the same thing, Woods, man. We talked about this on one of your shows earlier, man. That just being in tune with your people and knowing the same way that they reinforce it with me, I reinforce it with them. I know, I just was at a program and I got a guy. I know he a Baltimore Ravens fan, and I already knew he was going to the game. I double checked with him. Hey man, how was the
yeah,
game? Did you go to the game? Like small things like that, or making sure that you're putting things in place to where, because again, the ground we came from, man, if I had tickets to, a game, a big Monday night football game, I my people would have knew that, man. If something going on at work, I just ain't gonna make that game. But
Right.
now having a different mindset, you know what, man, if I can't make allowances for this guy to go to this Monday night game that he paid for, man, I'm doing him a disservice if I got to come work the floor for him so he can go to
Right.
the go to the game. But that's about, again, knowing your people. I try to know something, two or three personal things that drive the people that work up under you, man, so you can kind of help reinforce that, when that bad behavior start coming, when people start missing the workouts, the going to the games. One of my directors told me this other day was, and it's so funny, it's so true. She got nephews. She said, man, when they was little, because they out of state. When they was little, I used to, Auntie, just send me this. She used to just send them stuff. She said, nah, they telling her, these are some teenagers saying, nah, Auntie, I want you to come to the game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't
Right.
send me money. I want, but again, and it's going back to what all this is tying together. Whether it's mental, I think when we say mental health, we always
Mental
think
health, yeah.
we think negative with mental health. No, mental health is even positive. These kids are in tune with their feelings now. You know what I mean? I wouldn't dare it. I would have said, send me the money. Send me the money. But these new kids, like, no, man, I want my auntie to be at the game.
But man, this goes back to something that I developed called the platinum rule. We know what the golden rule is, right?
Mm-hmm.
The golden rule is to treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
The platinum rule is treat people the way they want to be treated.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And once you begin to take that concept and learn that concept, then you're gonna get a better outcome.
Yeah.
Because you got to learn how to do that within parameters and of course and everything. But when people feel that they are being supported, whether it's relationship, auntie, cousin, or whatever it is, according to the way that their expectations are, the outcome is totally different. Totally different. And we're gonna get to something since we talk about teams, but okay. I got something I'm gonna throw at you. Tiffany posted, challenges are what make life interesting. Overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. Joshua J. Marine. What's your thoughts about that?
I that's my first time ever hearing that, but yeah, that's spot on. That's spot on. Yeah, challenges, like, that's what we wake up for. You know what I mean? That's what we wake up for. And despite, whether it's sports, whether it's residential work or whatever you do, like, without challenges, we get bored. We get bored easy, and then we don't, feel. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Without that, that boredom, you don't feel, I don't know, like, needed or whatever. But kind of going back to the second piece of it is overcoming that challenge is what makes it meaningful. Everybody want to be able to sit back and be like, why did I do this? And when you want to see some type of outcome, you know what I'm saying? So if you know that you went into a challenging situation, you know what I'm saying, and you was able to fight through that challenge and you had some type of aversion on it, but being able to sit back, come on the other side of that mountain and realize what you went through, yeah, I agree with that 1,000%. I like that quote. You got to text it to me so I can.
you can go to my site. She got it right there on the. Well, but let me ask you this, man. You do a lot of talking about teaming and team analogies. Let's talk about your team. Now your Wi-Fi won't go out. You got to come back, man. We're gonna talk about them Titans. Where you at, Bratcher? Get your Wi-Fi together. All right, y'all. While Bratcher getting himself together to bring him back, we're gonna first of all, I want to tell you all thank you all for joining. But I'm gonna let him come back so we can talk about them Titans. Because he been talking trash. But nevertheless, hey, thank you all for sharing your words, giving your input. We always like to share the things that you have for us as a whole. Candace also stated that I'm studying the brick by brick program now. That's what's up, Candace. Appreciate that. And then confirmation is impactful by Langston. I appreciate you sharing that as well as with us, Langston. But look, I told you, I told you he was gonna come back. He got to get this. What's wrong with your Wi-Fi? You got Wi-Fi. That's not Wi-Fi. Can you hear me?
Now I can't hear Woods.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Still nothing.
I can't hear you now. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Interesting. Yeah, I cannot hear you all of a sudden.
Say something now. All right, y'all. He having a technical difficulty. Hey, Langston, I see you got. Hope to see you there Friday. I already got other obligations Friday, Langston, but I've been seeing you doing your post. Say something now, Bratcher.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure something out, man. My phone rung and it threw everything off. So, can you hear me?
You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Mm-hmm. Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. Yeah. All right, well, let's go and dive into them Titans. What's going on with them, man? What's your perspective as a dog?
I get some technical difficulties and I come back to this question. Okay, man.
I told him that he's trying to leave. He doing it on purpose. You know, I'm about to ask about his Titans.
Man, it's embarrassing, man. I went to a preseason game and I was hopeful. I was like, you know what, rebuild and I think they're gonna have to. I knew it wasn't gonna be a playoff year or anything of that nature, but I did not predict this, man. And I'm at a loss for words, man. I'm at a loss for words.
I'm gonna tell you this. What's crazy about it? Sports people all the way from this summer, they identified 3 wins. At the most 4, all year long, all throughout the summer.
So initially, I told my son, because my son is a sports fanatic and a diehard Titans fan, and every time he say he gonna give up on them, he don't. He just like me. We go shopping for teams and we come right back to the Titans. We initially said 3 to 4 games, but then when I saw in the preseason, Cam and how he was moving, and I was a little hopeful, but man, it's bigger than a quarterback with the Titans, man. You got
to have the right pieces, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Steelers fan, and every day I'm nervous about old ass Aaron Rodgers. Every day I'm nervous, man, because it ain't no secret. Everybody know he can't move.
Right. Yeah.
He can't move. So the only thing that we got going for him is that he can get that ball out real quick.
You're right.
But when he hold on to that ball, he gets sacked. And it ain't no secrets about it. You got people that ain't never made sex getting sex on him.
But that's the challenge with the Titans. As you can see, they already breaking records with the sacks that we have been getting. And Cam does not get rid of the ball. He's trying to show that he's a pocket quarterback. He's not a runner. But, man, he's going to have a short career. Because
I said that, too, that Cam is trying to prove that he is a pocket quarterback.
Yeah.
There's been plenty of time, man. You could have ran for 10, 15 yards. It's right there.
Yeah, or even threw the ball away and don't keep because your body is going to only be kind of going back to what you said about earlier about that person that run through the wall, and then once you ran through all the walls, they say we're done with you. Your body is used up. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's taking some hits, man. That you be like, come on, man. So yeah.
All right, man. I'm gonna let you have that. You got in there.
Listen, I told on my little text group with some of my partners, they was bragging about their teams and everybody excited about how they going. I said, listen, man, none of y'all ain't in the running for a first round draft pick. Like we're gonna do back-to-back number 1 pick the rate that we going.
It's bad. It's bad. But I don't know what to say, man. I can't focus on them by worrying about my Steelers, man. We so week by week and minute by minute. I don't know what team we're gonna get to show up, man. Our cornerbacks are suspect. I'm glad we got Ramsey. That's really making a big difference.
Yeah.
It's only so much that defensive line can do. But I just worry how long our quarterback is going to hold up, though.
I know.
It is what it is. You got any last words for the people?
Nah, man. Other than, man, just going back to, I'm always gonna keep pushing that work-life balance, man, and
Yeah.
just being in tune with your happy place, what makes you happy, what keeps you motivated, because the work is always gonna be there, and I realize, man, that sometimes even the people who say, man, I'm gonna cut this off. I'm gonna turn it. You can't. Some stuff is just innate. It's in you. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't control how hard you go or how hard you work, which is because it's just in your DNA, but you can put some of it.
His Wi-Fi is going out again, y'all. So, but we're about to wrap it up. Last comment: Langston posted that his Cowboys is running for the first pick. Come on now, Langston. You know your Cowboys is not going to get no first pick, man. Y'all gonna keep doing what y'all doing, but we're gonna let y'all have it. But once again, hey, you back?
Yeah, now I can't hear you again. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're about to sign off, man. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for sharing your questions, your answers, and your comments. And just remember, always remember, small victories lead to greater success. I am Dr. Woods, and you have just been hit by the R.A.W approach. Peace out.